Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to Creative Job Search Internet and Social Media Workshop. I always enjoy reading the responses to this morning's question. What are you hoping to get out of this workshop? And here are a few highlights that caught my attention. I'm looking to figure out how to use LinkedIn and get a better understanding. I'm using it, but I'm not seeing the results. I'm looking to expand my job search. I'm looking for social media exposure to make myself look better online. How to use online tools, how to optimize LinkedIn, learning new job seeking ideas, and how to stand out from the other applicants. And hopefully we can answer those today. If not, there are going to be some opportunities where you can reach out to career staff like myself for a one-on-one approach to see if we can help you achieve those objectives and much more. My name is Sam Keel. I'm a workforce development specialist serving the communities in Northwest Minnesota, and I'm happy you all could join us today. My role here today is to share innovative strategies on how to balance your job search, grow your network, maximize your efforts on social media, particularly LinkedIn today, and provide you advice in your career search. Speaking of career search, CareerForce from Anywhere is offering digital networking opportunities to include job fairs, career explorations, and virtual career fairs in the upcoming weeks. Job clubs, I should say. To register for any of these opportunities, I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the chat, maybe. Give me 1 second. Looks like I got kicked off.
Well, you're still on, just sharing a different screen.
Yeah, am I even sharing a screen?
I
Looks
believe
like,
so.
oh, which screen am I sharing?
Shared web browser, LinkedIn.
Oh, that's interesting. All right. Give me 1 moment, folks. I got to stop the
That's
sharing and
okay.
then restart it.
I can go ahead and take over for a bit. My name is Amber. I am from the Brainerd Career Force office. I am Sam's sidekick for this here class. I've been doing this for 28 years. Yeah, 28 years. And I actually teach the resume class that is next week. If you're interested, I'll put in a little pitch for that class. But I will be taking care of everything in the chat. Please know we are a very large group today. So if you can give Sam a thumbs up or anything of the reaction button, that saves the chat box for being able to actually collect your questions and get them to Sam. So thanks. And if you have any questions, that's where you'll find me. Thanks, Sam.
Perfect. Thank you, Amber, for jumping in there. So as I was saying, to register for any of our workshops, Amber's amazing resume writing workshop, go ahead and follow that first link that I just threw into the chat box. The second link in the chat box is to find your local career force. Call them today and see how you can sign up for your personalized appointment to address your career search questions, whether they have opportunities, appointments available or not. Just give them a call. They'll be happy to get you in. Whether you are employed, underemployed, or unemployed, we do have helpful staff that can help you with those questions. From resume employment services to veterans employment services to dislocated worker program and vocational rehabilitation services, just to name a few. But before we jump into our next slide, open up your chat box. This is one of the few questions I'm going to ask in the chat, just because we do have that large group, as Amber said, is what is your favorite resource to use when you are job searching? So go ahead and respond to that, and we'll get you moving on to the next slide. As you type in your response, I want to talk briefly about past and upcoming workshops, which are part of this Creative Job Search series. Each standalone workshop makes up 1/6 of Creative Job Search series, which covers the essentials of the Creative Job Search workshop. We have a few coming up. In addition to these workshops, we do offer intense topics every Wednesday from 1 to 2:30. Tomorrow, for example, is our standalone interview workshop, and that's going to be Wednesday, June 18th. You can ask your questions. Great group of individuals that facilitate that workshop. And as Amber said, the resume writing workshop, which is the following Wednesday on June 25th. For those who want to leap into the job search but are unsure where to start, we do have recorded versions of our Creative Job Search that can be watched from the comfort of your cozy blanket fort. We just ask that you follow up with Career Force if you have any lingering questions that went unanswered during those recorded presentations. And the great thing about this is it's accessible to you. The bad thing is you're not getting that hands-on, have your questions answered that moment that you have that. So I do encourage attending our workshops first, or if you can't make it, attend that and then reach out to us. To start our day off in a positive note, I would like to introduce a poll, which is an interactive way for us to engage with you and see what your opinions are. We're going to have 3 polls during this workshop or this presentation, and would love to see your responses. In a moment, you should see a new window that populates on the screen that says polling. Go ahead and click on the polling phrase and answer this question. And the first question is, how did you find your first or your last job, I should say? It's going to be A, newspaper advertisements, B, help wanted sign, C, I mean, know my alphabet, online job boards such as Minnesota Works, Indeed, LinkedIn, I mean, ZipRecruiter, or is it your network, your traditional network, family, friends, colleagues, etc., or LinkedIn, Facebook for your social media networks? As you submit your final thoughts on this poll, I encourage you to turn up the volume and find a comfortable but not too comfortable place to set up for the day. Free yourselves from those unwanted distractions, as this workshop can change your perspective on how you may find your next position. I want to let you know that your questions do matter to us, and we'll be getting to them at the appropriate time during the session. We are hopeful that this workshop will help you recognize different methods for job searching, identify perks for the state using the state's labor exchange, Minnesota Works, which will be transitioning here in the next year, compared to the other third-party job boards. The importance of balancing your job search strategies, improve your current network efforts, from cold calling to elevator speech to informational interviews, and demonstrated how the role of social media, although is ever changing, is here to stay. So I'm going to go ahead and share those results with you. And we can see that networking is always going to be the top of the list. And we have 43 individuals that said networking. Online social job board was 37, newspaper advertisement at 4, and people are just not responding to that help wanted sign. We can understand that people find jobs from a number of different advertised sources. That is why we encourage you to focus your job search, look beyond the job title, and prioritize what you find. So what I like to do is throw in this chat. So if you're looking at, hey, I'm a dental hygienist, what other things can I do? This is a great guide that tells you, hey, you know what? These are your skills that you have. Here are other job titles that you could apply for. So other job seekers love to fall in love with the ease of applying online with a click of the button. If there's one thing you take away from this career, this workshop, this webinar, is avoid mass applying. In fact, avoid applying directly through any third-party website if you can. We are seeing a lot of positions out there which are called ghost positions, and we can talk about that a little later. This will only cloud your job search success. Instead, prioritize what you find. First, apply for those positions you know you're going to be a great fit for, not with that silly quick apply feature, but with a tailored resume that tells the appropriate story on how you are the right person for this position. If you are skimming through the job boards and you find your dream job, verify it is a true job. Don't fall for those ghost jobs where it just seems too good to be true. You just submit your application on LinkedIn or Indeed and just hope for the best. Don't use the links that are within the posting. Instead, do your due diligence and research that position. Go to your favorite web browser and type in the job title, the company name, and then you can kind of find it on the company website. It is always best practice to use caution on the internet. If there are no caution flags thrown regarding this position, respond immediately with a tailored resume and cover letter through the company's correct employment portal. Unfortunately, closing dates are not written in stone. Some dates are assigned, but many private sector jobs will close after the opportunity of X amount of applicants apply or they find their ideal hire. To make myself stand out from the crowd, and you guys can do this as well, is I like to call and talk to the hiring authority directly regarding the position. I ask for their complete job description, not just that job posting that everyone sees. By asking for that complete job description, that could be 5 to 10 pages long that tells you what you would really be doing in that role. The expected closing dates is another thing I like to ask for. And if I feel like I want to tailor my a cover letter, I will ask who I can tailor a cover letter to, and I will ask for the correct spelling of that person's name, pronouns if I need to, and then also I like to ask for their job title. If there is no luxury connecting with the employer before applying, follow up with a phone call post-submittal, typically 2 to 3 weeks. So currently on Minnesota Works, which is our state's labor exchange, more or less it is an online job board. What separates this website from more familiar ones, ZipRecruiter that you mentioned in the chat, Career Builder, I believe I saw a few Indeeds and LinkedIn's of the world, is that Minnesota Works is 100% free to the end users, both employers and job seekers alike. You see, most of the online job boards, anyone with a credit card can post a job. Only on Minnesota Works and those state labor exchanges that are out there, employers who are looking to hire within Minnesota will be considered. In fact, all employers are heavily vetted prior to accessing Minnesota Works, which has been known to minimize the Rift Raft scammers. As a job seeker, this is exciting, as our virtual caution flag that we have tucked in our back pocket can be comfortably tucked back in there as we cruise Minnesota Works looking for our next opportunity. I was just on there this morning. Currently, there are well over 58,000 jobs listed and about 20,000 viewable resume. That's a 3-to-1 ratio in favor of jobs, of the jobs that are out there. So more jobs than seekers that are looking. Favorable for those hunting for their next career. Using those reactions, the thumbs up, the applause, whatever you want to give us, is have you ever taken a detour at least once in the course of your career and may have had multiple skills, multiple job titles that you could be competitive for? So go ahead and throw those reactions in there. For me, I started my career off as an apprentice, as an electrical apprentice. I then went to college. I became a graphic designer, marketing communication specialist, and then I got my teaching degree. So I've had a lot of different careers in my past. And that's why Minnesota Works allows you to have 5 competitive resumes that focus on different career fields or interests. Even better, these resumes do not need to be in a chronological format, which is organized by your most recent job being listed first. Instead, you can build a resume that focuses on your past skills and highlight those jobs that are relevant to your career, listing the employment dates in a month tally versus the start and end date. So I see other fellow graphic designers out there. Unfortunately, these resume formats are great for a keyword search for the employer. They are not currently appealing when applying for a job or a company's portal or bringing it to the interview. Although it's a good resume to have out there to be searchable, it's not one you ever want to create. And that's why it's so darn important to attend the upcoming resume writing workshop, which is again Wednesday, June 25th. Our moderator, Amber, today will be hosting that, and she is excellent, superb. And follow up with a CareerForce representative to ask for assistance, such as a resume review. It's great to go there and figure out how to write a resume and then come to us and say, all right, I attended that workshop, now what? What can you do to help me improve this? What are your thoughts? And we would love to help you on that one. As you advance in the job search, we understand that applications can be a barrier between you and the job you're aiming to get. A strategy I found helpful on an open vacancy is just put more effort towards applying than the average applicant. If the position is open, as I said earlier, call and verify that it is still open. Nothing is more frustrating than creating a resume for a dream job that closed this past week, past year, or is that ghost job. Ask to speak to the hiring manager who will be reviewing that resume. Get their position title and correct spelling of the name. This will help you decide to draft a cover letter. And if possible, as mentioned before, ask for the job description breakdown to be emailed to your email. That opens up a new form of communication, which is great. Even though many of us have found success by looking for jobs online, moving forward, 75% of the jobs will be found through people you know. We encourage you to balance your online time with other job searching activities, such as attending conferences, going out with some friends, networking events, volunteering, and participating in group outings. Before I move on, I want to open up our second poll and allow time for questions to be asked. This poll should be open for roughly about 20 seconds. And the question that's going to be on there is, how many people does the average person know? The average American, I should say. Amber, I have to say that this question always gets a varied response, and in the last year, I've yet to see agreed upon response. So as you submit your final thoughts to this question, ask yourself, how many acquaintances do you have, and are you average? But before we share that answer with you, I want to explain who is in that network. Your network is much bigger than you think. Try reaching out to past friends, family, coworkers, neighbors, and others that are genuinely interested in your well-being. Those are the ones who will be interested in your success. But with the labor shortages we've been seeing fluctuate throughout the years, employers are now offering bonuses to their employees for referrals. Start spreading the word that you're open to new opportunities. With your traditional network, your social media network, let others know you are currently transitioning from one job to another and that you're exploring new opportunities. It is humbling. It is truly humbling to see how others will go out of their way to help you jumpstart your career by leveraging their personal individual network. Networking is considered, considering all those additional factors, your family, your friends, your neighbors, acquaintances, and their own network, it is easy to speculate the answer to our poll is in the hundreds. And in fact, I'll share that with you, that we had many of us say, you know, north of 150, which is the most I've seen in a while agreed upon, which is surprising to me. So looking at all that, this poll doesn't mean each connection is invested in your future, but it does shed light on the power of networking and how the right connection can make all the difference in a job placement. Here's a rhetorical question. Don't fill up the chat box. Does your entire personal network know you're open for opportunities? What about your social media network? Today, with the use of social networking, I would theorize that it would take less than 5 connections to reach any one person on this earth. Even the astronauts on the space station have Facebook or LinkedIn. So be impactful in your applications. Go beyond simply applying. Find out who works there. Use social media to figure out who works at that company and connect the dots back to you. Robust job searching is about connection. It is not about perfection. There is no perfect job strategy that will work for everyone besides networking. So whether you're job searching online or looking through those help wanted pages, there is one strategy that separates itself from the rest, and that is called informational interviewing. And I love informational interviewing. Using the reactions, let me see if you've used informational interviewing before. If you haven't, no worries. We will share what that is in the next few slides. But first, let's talk about the steps to get to that place. And the first step is becoming organized. Find an employer you want to speak to and prepare some honest questions regarding their company or available positions. Write those questions down and maybe even create a script or something tangible with talking points. I'd rather be overprepared than underprepared and overwhelmed. Step 2, before the call, practice out loud. It helps to hear how you sound and will help you to avoid too many filler words such as like, mm. Step 3, when the phone call is about to happen, find an environment free of distractions. I personally like the car, a den, an office, a bedroom, but please stay away from empty rooms such an unfinished basement. It will sound as if you're in a bathroom, causing an unpleasant echo. And if you're in the bathroom, do not flush the toilet. Step 4, dress for success. Not like using a suit or a tie or extravagant gown, but comfortable jeans, a button-down polo shirt or button-down shirt. And finally, step 5, as you speak with the employer, smile. You sound so much happier and your voice fluctuates naturally. Those who are unable to see you speak can hear you smile, and that brain paints the picture. If you follow those 5 steps, and you put the extra effort into researching the employer, making connection with them can come off less daunting. Networking should never be, and it should never be, or start off with, what can you do for me? What jobs are available, or how much do you pay, or where do I apply? Those questions demonstrate your inability to do your research. If you want to impress the employer, have a lighthearted and brief conversation. Let them know that their time matters and that you'd love to have a further discussion to learn more about the company beyond what the website says or the news articles state, and ask them for an informational interview. Stay positive. You may hear no more than yes. And I'm going to throw this in the chat. I'm sorry, Amber, the chat's going to get really busy here in a second. For those who have tried informational interviewing, have you found success? You can throw it in the chat if you have. If you haven't, you can put reactions, whatever. Even though interviewing is part of this phrase, it is merely a casual conversation, usually scheduled during a coffee break. This is more successful when the employer is either in between job openings or in the early postings of a job opening. Success is found by those who are prepared for the meeting. Success is found by those who are dressed appropriately and direct the conversation and have a shared interest in the company. As the conversation closes, follow up with a physical letter or email expressing your excitement to learn about their personal journey. And if possible, ask to connect with them on LinkedIn. Social media, from X to Twitter video, resumes on Instagram, portfolios, job seekers are devoted. They are devoted on finding creative and innovative approaches to get noticed by employers. I've even seen people holding in California and Florida their resume and saying, hey, I have a PhD or a master's degree or bachelor's degree in computer engineering. Take a resume in busy traffic hour. And they get a lot of responses. It is crazy. But for the most part, when we look at how to get noticed by employers, there are 3 pillars of social media that really deserve our attention. That's going to be the LinkedIn, the Facebook, and X. The primary goal of social media is to help you connect with people, to help you build communities and groups and share ideas, interests, and information regarding your chosen profession. What started as a simple service has now evolved into a mandatory part of the creative job search. The benefits of using social networks to grow your professional brand in terms of relationship building, portfolio creation, resume building, and all are endless. LinkedIn is a professional networking site. You can apply through jobs through LinkedIn, and recruiters use LinkedIn to scan your profiles for keywords. They can filter out your profiles. That's why it's important to have the right keywords inside your profile, whether that's your headline or your summary, or in your job titles or job descriptions. Facebook and Twitter are more so private networking sites. We use these websites to express our personal beliefs and share sometimes not so pleasant articles. But if this guy is using looking at those articles online, be careful about what you post online. Consider Googling yourself and see what information comes up. If you find something concerning on Google, like your name is like one of the top 10 most wanted, consider adding your middle name or initial. Many, if not all, employers will look you up if you are considered for the position. Check out the link in the chat box. I'll throw another link in there to see what the Minnesota rap sheet looks like. Throw that in there. Think of LinkedIn as your virtual water cooler resume. It's professional and friendly, and LinkedIn is no longer a place to find people. It is a place of personal and professional growth. It's a place of business growth, a place of economic growth, and a place that makes differences in professional lives. It's a community where you can be inspired to build relationships, to discover unexpected opportunities. Regardless if you're new to LinkedIn platform or you're an avid user, the first thing you need to do is update all your information on LinkedIn. In fact, you need to become a LinkedIn All-Star, as it increases your chances to be recognized tenfold. Here's the final poll, and the poll is, did you know LinkedIn gives priorities to those who have a LinkedIn All-Star status? Achieving All-Star status is much easier than you think. You need to spend some time completing your profile and a bit of maintenance keeping it up to date. To find out what level you are, go into your profile and look at the dashboard where you will see the current level in the top right. There are 5 levels that are recognized on your LinkedIn profile for the level of completion. As you complete your profile and add more content, your profile strength increases. You start with the beginner status, which is given to users with less than 50% of completion. To get this information, you just need to fill out the basic information such as your name, your location, and 3 skills, I believe it is. When you reach the 50% completion, you achieve intermediate status.
Sam?
Yes.
Sorry, we have an interesting comment in the chat box that I thought you may take special interest in. Lyndon says, one thing they do in the military is pass downs. Civilian world does not do that. It's beyond job description. Considering your background, Sam, do you agree with that?
Pass downs. I haven't heard of that phrase, Lyndon, of pass downs. So if you can explore that, and the reason she's asking me with the familiar part is I served 16 years. So just put that in there and we'll address that. Unless, Amber, you have an idea what pass downs is.
I'm just an Army brat. I'm just an Army brat. I was never in the service, but my dad was a drill instructor. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah. So when you reach the 50 parts, and I'm excited to hear what that is, Lyndon. So go ahead and throw that in there. 50%. You said it's when you go to a new duty station. So for the pass downs, I was guard. That's probably why, Lyndon. So I didn't have those new duty stations. All right. So when you reach 50% profile completion, you achieve intermediate status, which is followed by advanced. 75%, I believe, is completed. And the expert is given those who have 90% profile completion. An all-star status is given at 100% profile completion. And with that, if you are at an all-star status and looking at our poll results, it says that 35 did not know. 3, yes, I'm a LinkedIn All-Star. And 25 said, you know what? I have no idea what the All-Star status is. So the All-Star status, once all those recommended sections are added, I believe there's 8 of them, you'll receive an All-Star profile rating, and that profile rating meter will no longer be displayed. So if you have 50 plus connections and you've made referrals and all that stuff, we'll go over through line by line on that one. But basically, when you look at the All-Star, how do you find out your All-Star status? Okay, so I will jump into that, Marie, at the end. I'll jump into LinkedIn and show you how to look at LinkedIn, and we'll go through all that stuff. So I believe it's under, once you click on your little profile picture on your LinkedIn account, it should be at the top part. But if you're not on there, or if you already have met that All-Star status, it is gone. So you just have to assume you are an All-Star. LinkedIn algorithms give priority to users, and this is why it's important to be an All-Star, with complete profiles by ranking them higher in search results compared to users with incomplete profiles. So it's worth investing some time and tidying up your profile and make sure it is complete. I just went on to Forbes this morning and checked out some more LinkedIn information, and they're saying with the new algorithms and the new AI that's coming out, and how premium users are using AI to help in their job search, that they're getting rid of certain things on LinkedIn. So that's some news to come and tell us, hey, these algorithms are important. The algorithms will also look into your account, and they will look at it and say, hey, how often are you posting? How often are you commenting? Are you adding positive feedback? Are you posting once a week? They want those people that are more engaged with the platform to be sought out of than those who are just idly waiting by and hoping that a job's going to pop up that they can apply for. So the first step to the All-Star status, so let's jump back into that, is to get that profile picture. Here's a good question. Just think about this for the chat. Which images are appropriate for LinkedIn? We have A, B, all the way through F. And here's some recent data on LinkedIn. 51% of LinkedIn users have a fully completed profile. That's over 500 million people have a completed profile. So I do encourage you, if you're going to jump onto LinkedIn, to be active on it. Something new can be intimidating, but if this platform is used right, LinkedIn is worth your time investment. If you need motivation to finish something or someone to check on it, call the Career Force. Ask them to review your profile and or set deadlines. Write it down on a Post-it note, hang it on your computer, or put a reminder on your phone. Having a high quality profile picture is more important to getting noticed on LinkedIn. Data shows that profiles are pictures that receive 21 times more profile views than those without. Looking at the chat, we can see that everyone has an opinion, and most of us agree upon B and C. So I agree 100% on B and C. And when you look at F, yes, it's high quality, but the cropping is just poor. Even though my profile picture, LinkedIn picture, is a little more playful and energetic than professional, it clearly shows my face. It is well lit, ideally with daylight, and it is clear representation of who I am. But if we're looking for new opportunities, I would try to get a more professional image if I were looking for new opportunities. Here's something I recently found. Some state-sponsored career fairs do offer LinkedIn headshots, free LinkedIn headshots, which is awesome. Your goal with your headline is to appear in more searches and articulating your value and your proposition. There is no magic formula when it comes to the perfect headline. Your headline should align with what you're trying to achieve on LinkedIn. So ask yourself, who do you want to find you? What are they searching for? And hopefully that will help you fill in your headline. The next one is provide your industry and location. This step is probably the easiest way to get to the All-Star status. When editing your profile, make sure you enter your country, your postal zip code, and your industry. These articles or areas tell the recruiters where you reside and what industry you're in. A lot of recruiters will search for job candidates on LinkedIn using the industry and location settings. So if you leave this blank, you may be left out from your search results. Sorry, I'm reading the chat from David. Searching LinkedIn now and cannot find the all-star type designation even on my profile. Is there something view setting for this? So I'll show you how to get there, David. I believe I was telling Maria on that one. For the next one, the experience section, it is crucial to include your most current position along with 2 prior roles. According to Forbes, LinkedIn members with current positions are discovered 16 times more likely than those in recruiter searches, and see a 29% increase in profile views. But what is that? But what about those who are in between roles and don't have a current job title listed? Does that affect your all-star status? And I had to dig into this one, and it does. If you put yourself as, you know what, I was working all the way up through May, and now I'm in between jobs, and you don't have a position in there, you are no longer considered an all-star. So what you need to do is, when actively searching for employment, stating job seeker as your current job title on LinkedIn is perfectly acceptable. Transitioning. The straightforward approach clearly communicates your current career status. Alternatively, career transition could work. It simply conveys that you're on the period of professional change, offering a more nuanced opinion for those seeking to emphasize their career development. Just like on your resume, on LinkedIn, you have to use action verbs and short, broad statements targeted towards the desired job or field. I prefer using a gerund, which is a phrase, a verb that acts as a noun ending in ing, like training, teaching, facilitating. Use your resume as a guide, and make sure to revise and copy paste errors, as formatting might not look as nice on your profile. 5, to achieve the all-star status, you need to include at least 5 skills in your skills section. I like to put skills under each job title as well, because it highlights the other skills you can bring, or the diversity you can bring into an employer. Include skills that you're good at and skills related to the keywords employers are seeking to find candidates. An easy way to try to find those additional keywords is go to your ideal role. Look to 5 to 10 job postings, whether that's on LinkedIn, Indeed, Minnesota Works. You'll start noticing certain words popping up repeatedly, training, facilitating, educating, whatever it may be. That you can use those, borrow those words, and we like to call it creatively borrow, and put them on your resume if they're true. Or you can use artificial intelligence and ask AI, whether you're using Google Gemini, I believe it's Apple Intelligence, DeepSeek, ChatGPT, or Microsoft Copilot, whatever AI system you're using, you can ask it a broad statement or a prompt which says, what are the key skills that are needed for a workforce development specialist in the state of Minnesota? 5 soft skills, 5 transferable skills, and 5 job skills relevant to my roles as X, Y, and Z. Giving a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Have you used AI to help you edit or create content for your employment services or resources? So go ahead and throw that. Good, we're seeing some thumbs up. Out of all the sections in this post, as a wordsmith, this is the hardest for me. Crafting a summary, nailing down that summary. Before 2023, crafting a compelling summary took time. It took energy, it took revisions, coffee, lots and lots of coffee. But with accessible AI tools available to the end users, such as you and I, what took hours to craft only took a few moments. In fact, if you look at my about statement, that was creatively borrowed from AI. What it did for me is it unraveled my career highlights, it organized my thoughts, and added some humor that connected to my headline. So what I did is, I like that, Stephen. So what I did in my profile is I created what I thought was a good, solid about me statement. And once I got to that point where I'm like, gosh, this is good, but I think it can be better, I asked AI to review it and provide some feedback. And I asked it specifically what I was looking for. So AI just unraveled it. If you do plan on using AI to assist in revamping any of your employment documents, don't rely heavily on AI. Use it as a guide, not to map out your highlights, as your documents need to be written in your voice. So if you can put it down and make it yours, have them help you craft it. But
Sam,
once you get to that point, yeah, yes, I
can
didn't
I
even see you
pop in
pop
here?
on. Yeah,
I know.
sorry.
It's okay. I'm absolutely giggling at Carol's um, always treat AI like an intern. It's a great start, but you have to edit and make it your own. Carol, I absolutely love that phrase, and
Hmm.
I'm going to keep it. But also, folks that are talking in the chat about transitions between, maybe a high-powered role, and now they're looking for more of a different job, or changing work silos. Do know that we talk about that in that class on Wednesday. We talk a lot about that. And I gotta say, Sam actually started me on using AI for helping folks with their resumes, and I gotta say, it helps me get past that writer's block, especially when some of you have occupations that I don't know anything about. I will go into AI to kind of help me as an intern. I love that.
Yeah, I've been an intern myself on using AI too. So when you do use AI, it does have to be written in your own voice, and that's the most important thing. Is just because AI spat out these amazing words and you're like, oh wow, I wish I had that on my resume. Use it as a guide. Don't use it as the end result. Uh, so what I love to do is if you're looking to use AI, we're in the training part of AI here at the state. We're trying to figure out how we can ethically use it and all that stuff. But if you're using AI, you have to know that it's kind of like creatively borrowing something. Um, there is no plagiarism when it comes to resumes as long as the information is true and accurate. Same with your profile on LinkedIn. When we jump into education, the reason we like education on this is it gives you the opportunity to connect to people, that fellow alumni, students, colleagues that you have met, or possibly even just been built-in connections by you going to a certain school or working. This section is important, especially if you're a recent grad, because you can start adding all those other individuals. Nepotism does exist in the workforce, and employer. I mean, I'm not saying I would do it, but if I saw that I graduated from South Dakota State University and Amber graduated from South Dakota State University, and in the same program I went through, I would have that connection, immediate connection, feeling like, okay, I know that she might know X, Y, and Z. Maybe she might be. I know what she went through with that instructor. So that's kind of the nice part of using education. And the final step to reach the all-star status is to get at least 50 connections. You can connect by others by sending them an invitation, accepting their invitations. You can also jumpstart your connections by allowing LinkedIn to match you up with people from your contacts inside your email. Another way to start is simply by using the search feature and find companies that you want to work for and connecting with ex-coworkers that might already work there or have worked there in the past. Establishing connections and interacting is a core part of LinkedIn, and the platform will reward you in search results if you have more connections. Every minute on LinkedIn, this is straight from the CEO and I love it, 200 people join. This is every minute. 9,000 connections are made, 4,500 applications are submitted, and anywhere from 3 to 5 people get a job on LinkedIn. That's every minute. Networking is the key to success. And it's difficult, even under the best circumstances, but networking while unemployed can be especially uncomfortable. If this struggle is real for you, networking while unemployed is not as hard as it may seem. In fact, here are a few simple strategies you can do on LinkedIn to make the whole process easier and more productive. When LinkedIn came mainstream back in 2010, you probably unintentionally accepted like an invitation because Facebook was out in 2007, 2006 timeframe. And you're like, wow, okay, so this is the next new thing. And you're just jumped into it and like blindly saying, yeah, I accept an invitation. That's pretty cool. But you left it. So if you have less than 25 connections or haven't really used LinkedIn in the last decade, start fresh and sign up for something new, a new LinkedIn account. You just need a new email address. Grow your network. Let the site walk you through the basis. It is really hard to reset a password on LinkedIn if you no longer have access to that email or that phone number that you have for the second verification. So start up fresh, start your network fresh, grow your network. So let that site walk you through that basics, the identifying the information, writing the headline, work experience, education, and explore your email connections. In roughly about 30 minutes or less, you'll have an online presence that backs up the content of your resume. Yes, Amber, I finally found you.
Thank you. What question? Wendy has a question that Perry also has. What are your thoughts on LinkedIn wanting to try premium free for a month?
Try it first. So is it worth it? If you're trying to get north of 70,000, it might be, but you have to know what pocket change you have laying around that you can afford LinkedIn Premium. If you're a veteran, and I think even EMS, you may be able to access LinkedIn for free for a year, LinkedIn Premium for free for a year. No, that's LinkedIn Learning, but that's one way. That free month, on the other hand, that's pretty nice to use if you are actively engaged on LinkedIn. If you're in a great routine, you're sharing. I'm not sure about that, Daniel, for the first responder. I'll have to look into that and put it out in an email. But when you jump into that and you're using LinkedIn Premium, if you're using it on a day-to-day basis, then LinkedIn Premium might work. But and there's some really cool features that LinkedIn Premium does offer. But if you're just starting on LinkedIn, do not jump into Premium. If you're just, maintaining LinkedIn, don't jump into Premium. If you are actively using it as your number one, number two, goal to feature, then I would suggest if you have the money, you might want to invest in it.
Mr. Sam, two things. Audrey points out that as a veteran, it is easy to get free access to Premium for a year. So maybe Audrey, you can give us a little bit more information on that. That would be fantastic. And then also we have a request, which AI platforms are your preference? I am a Google Gemini girl just because it's built into my phone.
And for me, Copilot's built into my computer. So I've used them all, except DeepSeek. The state doesn't allow us to use DeepSeek. But for all those other ones, when you look at it, it's pretty easy. You can ask it, the phone's great because you can just ask it a prompt by recording your voice. For me, I like to type it, and I demonstrate that with job seekers when I'm sitting down with them and how to use it. All right, so if great question on that one and great insight. I would love to see that link, and thank you for throwing that, I believe, in the chat, Audrey. So if you are going to grow your network, it's important to start endorsing people. So you can endorse people if you have that established network. Click on your connections and scroll through your first, second degree connections and third-degree suggested connections. If you want to endorse a person that you know they're like, let's say you worked on with a project with them and they were the project lead, and you're actively looking for a job, go into their profile, clicking on it, endorsing them for project lead, training, facilitating, whatever it may be that's relevant to the skill you witness is a great way to let them know that, hey, I've seen you do this. This is awesome. And it also gives them an alert that you looked at their profile and they might be able to even return the favor. Another thing you can do is recommend, submit a recommendation, kind of like those recommendations you'd bring to the interview, but this is one that's never going to leave. Let's say you had a recommendation from Steve Jobs on LinkedIn. That is good for the rest of your life. Now, if you had a Steve Jobs recommendation on a piece of paper, awesome, you should frame that. But unfortunately, if it is not stamped by someone who's like a notary, that recommendation can no longer be used because that person no longer can verify that that's information. So I like to throw out recommendations and add a little personal note for the recipient to ask for one in return. Just something simple. Hey, if you feel that this, I felt that you deserve this, and I would love to see one in back if you feel like I did a good job on this panel. So if not, no worries. I do truly think you deserved it. So having that information is great. Start following businesses. As I said earlier, LinkedIn has 1.1 billion users out there, and there's over 69 million registered companies. So start following those companies you're interested in, that you want to work for. The local companies are the best because they're going to post on their local website and you're going to get notifications of those posting, changing your feed. So if your feed is just on people like Facebook, you're going to get more Facebook and advertisements. If it's on companies, more about companies, you're going to get a good mixture of those companies and the people sharing their successes out there. So I love jumping on there and using LinkedIn to follow companies. You can follow people. You can do a lot of great things on LinkedIn. If you are jumping into the content, if you're sharing or commenting on those posts and giving great feedback, by posting on people's comments and using a name drop, let's say I put @AmberCrop on my LinkedIn, she'll get a notification that I commented, hey, what did you think of this article? And ask for feedback. That's going to get you more engaged. It's kind of like that Facebook hack where you click on people's profiles so you can see more of their information versus less of their information, more advertisements. So jumping on there, try using a hashtag if you're going to post something, or that name drop, as I said. Most importantly, invest your time into LinkedIn. Do not allow your account to become idle. There are a ton of tools accessible to you as a job seeker. So we're going to go into just 3 tools before we finish out the day. So if you have any questions, throw them into the chat, as this last 5 minutes, 10 minutes is going to go pretty fast. So with video being like one of the next mega trends that you see on LinkedIn, you need to have one of these in order to create a video of yourself for your LinkedIn. It's kind of like an introduction of who you are, that elevator speech. It gives you a glimpse of their personality. Have a really good lighting. You shouldn't have poor lighting. It should be outside, something fun. Talk about yourself. Just 30-second introduction about you and what you're looking for. And that's kind of like where this feature is going. But if you're trying to use it on your computer, you cannot access that. To add it, you just got to jump onto your phone and click on your profile picture or on your LinkedIn account on your app, and then you can actually add that feature. Another thing that you should look into is using a hashtag. Hashtags are great. If you're reading an article that's relevant to your position and you're like, gosh, that was a good article, I want to share this, include a hashtag with one a phrase. It shouldn't have any spaces, like open to work or whatever it may be. Maybe it's something specific in your industry. And you can use AI to figure out what are the hashtags that are relevant to your industry that are trending. Now you can have the right trending hashtags on the article that you're sharing. So it's kind of a nice way that that you can get yourself out there. So you should never have like 100 hashtags underneath the article. It should be like 2 or 3 simple hashtags. And there's some controversy out there. Do we do hashtags? Do we do not? And do we do the open to work or do we do not? So we have to figure out what works best for you. If you are using the hashtags and you're not finding any traction, stop using the hashtags. If you're using that open to work banner, and you're not getting any traction, take off the open to work banner. It's a trial and error. You shouldn't, as I said earlier, you should never let your account become stagnant when you're using LinkedIn. As I said, that open to work banner, this is a controversial area, and I love it. I like it because I've read a lot of articles on it, and it's a 50-50 split. The reason I like it is you have to stand out from the crowd. You can put this banner on there, or you can go into your preference and say you're open to recruiters. You don't have to have that banner on there. So there's 2 different ways that you can put yourself out there. The reason a lot of people are hesitant on this is it's raised eyebrows because of the 20th century stigma that is felt as a personal failure, which is unemployment or the transitioning. It's more common than you think. Unemployment is more common. In fact, a whopping 50 to 60% of Americans will face unemployment in the next, probably at some point in the career. I don't want to give like an end time, 7 years or anything like that, but they're going to face unemployment. We're all going to try to avoid it, but we will eventually get there. And with the career shifts happening more today and more frequently, with AI technology advances, globalization, it's no surprise that the average worker switches careers 3 to 7 times. So when an employer says, what are you planning on doing in the next 3 years? You're kind of like, well, I really cannot answer that one, because the average person is going to be switching a career in that 3 years. That's what the internal you is saying. But you're probably going to say something, Cam, like, oh, I plan on being challenged in this role. So why not be open about your job search when you are actively job searching? Give it a month, give it a week, feel how it goes. Using the open to work banner, you will be able to tap into your hidden connections. The algorithms that LinkedIn uses will pull those individuals into the recruiters field, which is great. And the reason people are hesitant about this is, you know what? It comes off as desperate. Well, there was a great article I read that had hashtag desperate on it, and to combat that phrase. And a lot of people added that because they are desperate. They are looking for work. They need any of the help they can get. If you're a CEO and you put the open to work on there, maybe it's not the best place. But if you're struggling from paycheck to paycheck, maybe open to work could be something that could separate you. So whether you use open to work or not, it's up to you. And if you're judging people who use the banner, please lighten up. Next week, it could be you that's thinking about using the banner. The most important thing is to put your best foot forward and show potential employers what you can bring to the table. A strong LinkedIn profile and active networking are still crucial to your success. All right. So I'm going to show you the interview prep tool. We got a couple minutes left. So if you do have some questions in there, we'll hit this. And then if you want to stay on for a couple more minutes afterwards to kind of show you some other tools that could be beneficial in your job search, we'll stop the recording and go from there. But I just found that this tool is sunsetting or expiring because of AI. So AI has changed how we access the interview prep tool. There used to be a really easy way to jump into this interview prep tool. Google has their own interview prep tool. So if this does sunset and you can't access it, you can always jump onto Google and jump on that. So as we finish our time together, if you have any of those questions, please put that. But I'm going to jump into LinkedIn and demonstrate a few of the features that I think could change your job search success immediately. So let's jump into there. All right. Let's go here for the LinkedIn interview prep tool. So the LinkedIn interview prep tool is basically AI. It has 26 canned questions that you can access, and this is in your chat box. Tell me about yourself. You can practice and get feedback. You can record yourself and ask for feedback from your first degree connections. You can see what other people have responded if you are trying that premium. So that's a good thing about that. Bad thing is, I mean, you can look at some of this and they will tell you exactly how to be successful. Here are the tips. But if you're looking, well, these are very basic. You know, I'm an accountant. These are not the questions I experience. You can switch the categories and see what additional questions could be in there. So that's the great thing. I believe there's like 13 different questions, marketing managers and all that stuff. And I do encourage you to just jump in here and see what is out there. So this is a fun little site that you can play around with until it's no longer there. But what I want to show you is jumping in to see where your profile account is. So if you click on your little face up here, your profile for All-Star status would be typically right here, right in the About area, the analytics, the About, show all analytics. So you can click on that and it might be something right up here that demonstrates what your status is. If you don't see the All-Star status on there, you're an All-Star. So that's the great part of that. It means the analytics are in your favor, but make sure you're clicking on profiles and everything like that. So yeah, we'll answer some of those questions in the chat here in a moment. Another thing that's important for those job seekers that are new to LinkedIn is public profile and URL. So if you're on your profile page, you can change this information right here, yourlinkedin.com/and. A lot of people like to post their LinkedIn accounts on their resume, and they'll have a bunch of numbers and characters following their name. Let's avoid that. Take that out, put one number. If you need to have a number, change, put your last name, first name, whatever you may be, just to make sure you stand out from the crowd. And if you are using a QR code or something that is set to that URL, you'll have to change that information. So if you have a networking card or any documents that state, hey, this is my past URL, that URL will no longer exist. So that's something important to know on that one. All right, going back to LinkedIn, searching on LinkedIn for jobs, pretty straightforward. You can filter it down when you click on your briefcase up here. And I know we're just past time. So I'm trying, I did have that little blurb this morning where I wasn't able to share my screen. I have no idea how that happened. But you can go to preferences right here for your jobs, and you can say open to work, on site, yes, immediately I'm actively applying, flexible, I'm looking for it, and recruiters only. That's where you can say, you know what, I only want recruiters to see that I'm open to work. So that banner isn't to everyone in your network, it's just to recruiters, which is great. And you have to pay a substantial amount to get that recruiter package. So that's one thing that I like to say. So we'll jump into some questions.
You only have one, actually. You've been keeping up with them, I believe. Two. Margaret asked, what is the verification bag? And then is it worth being verified on LinkedIn?
So everyone likes to know that they exist, and employers like to know that you exist. So if you are verified, you're not a ghost. That's what it basically means. You're not some algorithm that created a fake account to get likes that we've seen on Instagram, Twitter, and stuff like that. Being verified, I'm not verified yet. I see that entering, my driver's license number or information like that is a little cumbersome, so I don't want to do that. Is it going to hurt you? No. Is it going to help you? I'm not sure. The verdict is still out on that one. So great question. Any other questions before I kind of jump in and showing you a few other things if you would like to stay on? So my jobs, my career highlights, skip the verified for now. Yep, that's what I'm at too.
Okay, I was just going to say because Audrey has a question from earlier on and the chat box was moving and I missed it. So Audrey, I hope that you will repost that for me because I don't have it. So thank you.
All right. So I'm gonna give my closing out speech, and then we will pause or stop the recording. So again, thank you for joining us today. And I remind you that 80% of your future careers will be found through your network. So let's get moving. Let's get out there. Let's expand our network. Let's talk to people. Let's connect the dots back to you on LinkedIn. And visit us at the Career Force. We'd be happy to help and provide more local and strategic approach to your ongoing job search. As a last reminder, all these relevant sources, resources, I'll also put some news articles that are relevant in this email that Amber will send out, as well as the copy of our slides and our presentation, emailed out to your Minnesota Works account within the next 24 hours or so. Although this job search was all about online job searching, the number one way to get through the job, get a job, is through your network. So that also includes face-to-face interaction. So grow your network, get out there and grow it. Schedule informational interviews. You may hear no more than yes, and do some local community research. Follow those companies that are in your backyard. Thank you for joining us today. And remember, tomorrow from 1 to 2:30, we'll be hosting an interview workshop. You can find that as well as many other workshops moving forward on our Career Force website. And I will share the end screen. There we go. Thank you again for your participation today, and I hope it was helpful.